This movie was super unique and I fucking loved it. Let's do it. The menu is about a bunch of super rich people who travel to this private restaurant called Hawthorne on a private island that is owned by this celebrity chef named Julian. Two of the guests are this rich dude named Tyler and his date Margot. Other guests include a food editor named Lillian and her editor, these three business partners, an ex-movie star and his assistant, and a really rich married couple, Richard and Anne, who have been here multiple times. They all get to the island by boat, and Julian's assistant, Elsa, gives them all a tour. And during the tour, Elsa looks at Margot and is like, she's not the person that was on your list. Because Tyler apparently was supposed to bring another woman, but then brought Margot at the last minute. So dinner starts, and it's just like super pretentious dishes. Like one dish is literally just a bunch of like sauces on a plate, and Margot's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? And now each course that is being served, the chef is delivering monologues to go along with it, and they're getting like increasingly weirder and unsettling. And for the third course, all of the guests have something revealed through these like laser printed tortillas. So for example, like the three business guys are basically all outed that they've been like laundering money. So everybody's getting really confused, and then during the fourth course, one of the sous chefs offs himself in front of everybody. So Richard, the husband, is like, fuck this, I'm getting out of here, and tries to leave, but they cut off his fucking ring finger. And they're like, you're not going anywhere, bitch. Hawthorne's main investor is then drowned and killed in front of all of the guests. Then the fifth course comes out and we meet Catherine. Catherine is an employee of Julian's that he admits to sexually harassing, so in return, he allows her to stab him. Not fatally, though. So then Catherine stays inside with all of the women while all of the men are given an opportunity to run off and escape. But obviously they don't intend for anybody to actually escape, and the staff are able to catch them all. So while the women are inside, Lillian, who's the food critic, says to Catherine, like, listen, if you get us out of this, like, I'll help you open your own restaurant. And Catherine's like, well, why would I do that? I'm the one who came up with this whole idea. Sick fuck. So then Julian explains to everybody why they're here. And it's basically because they all in some way have contributed to him losing his passion for cooking. So like the food critic giving him bad reviews. The couple comes here all the time like it's just an everyday thing and they don't even appreciate it anymore. And he tells everybody that they are all going to be dead by the end of the night, including himself and all of his staff. He pulls Margot aside and is like, listen, you weren't supposed to be here. So I'm going to give you the option to either die with everybody else or die with the staff. She doesn't really give him an answer because like, what the fuck? And he's like, okay, you're going to die with the staff. And now it's revealed to us that Margot's name is actually Erin, and she is an escort who was paid to come here with Tyler. And earlier, her and Richard recognized each other, and it's because Richard hired her as an escort. But she stopped seeing Richard when he wanted her to act like his daughter. Ugh. And it's also revealed that Tyler knew this whole fucking thing was going to go down. He knew the plan that everybody was going to be killed. But he kept it secret and still hired Margot to go with him anyway because singles are not allowed at the restaurant. So you can tell throughout this whole movie, Tyler's like weirdly obsessed with Chef Julian. So now Julian to Tyler is like, okay, well, since you're like so obsessed with me and my craft, how about you come in the kitchen and show me your skills? And Tyler fails miserably and is completely berated by the chef. And he whispers something in Tyler's ear that we don't hear, and Tyler walks off. So Julian asks Margot to go to a different building to get something that he needs for dessert, and as she's going to do so, she walks by a closet and sees Tyler hanging. On the way to the other building, she also breaks into Julian's house to try to find like a phone or anything. While she's in there, she is attacked by Elsa. A fight ensues between the two of them, but Margot ultimately ends up stabbing and killing her. On the wall, she sees a framed Employee of the Month award of Julian as a young fry cook. In the picture, he's super young making cheeseburgers in a diner, and he looks really happy. She also finds a radio and manages to call for help. So she gets back to the main building, and a little while later, her calls for help went through and a Coast Guard named Dale arrives. And everybody's like, oh, thank God, we've been saved. Just fucking kidding, it's all an act, and Dale is actually a line cook and just goes back to the kitchen and is like, yeah, fuck you guys. So now dessert is being prepared, which obviously is the last course, and Margot gets smart. She calls out Julian for his loveless cooking and is like, after all this shit, I'm still fucking hungry. And Julian's like, okay, well, what would you like? And Margot's like, a cheeseburger. And she's like, I don't want that elevated shit. I want a cheeseburger and french fries. And Julian fucking does it. And you can tell as he's making this just basic cheeseburger, which actually looks like the best cheeseburger you'll ever have in your life, he finds joy in doing so and he starts to love cooking again. So he brings the cheeseburger to Margot and she takes a bite and is like, this is the best fucking cheeseburger I've ever had. It's amazing. However, I'd like to take it to go. And it fucking works. Julian lets her take the cheeseburger and leave. And she gets on a Coast Guard boat and escapes. Meanwhile, the rest of the guests are left to have dessert, which is an elevated s'mores dish, and they are all literally dressed as s'mores. And they all kind of accept their fate as Julian sets them all on fire and they all die. The final shot is Margot driving away on the boat as she eats her cheeseburger and watches the restaurant burn, and then she wipes her mouth with a copy of the menu.